everyone, and welcome to the Ask Dr. Reilly Show. I am your host, Dr. Anissa Reilly, and it has been an honor to sit with some guests to talk about a very important topic, loss. So if you have been following us so far this season, you have heard some wonderful stories about how to move from the place of loss to the place of victory. And tonight, you're going to hear another story. Now, this story right here may make you cry, may make you weep, may make you want to go and just go, really? But trust me, after you've taken your tissues and dried your eyes and wiped all of that ugly cry from your face, you're going to see how wonderful it is to move from the place of not enough to more than enough. And so my guest tonight, her name is Priscilla Echi, my sister, my queen sister, my friend, and I'm so honored for her to be here tonight. So let's put our hands together as we welcome Miss Priscilla Echi. Come on, sister queen. Love you, girl. That's right. Here she is, popping and locking in. You see, black on black, melanin on melanin. Poppin', period. That's it. All right, take a seat. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I am so
amazing.
Yes. So welcome, Priscilla, to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so honored to have you here.
I'm honored to be here.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes.
I annoyed you since last season.
No, it wasn't. It was a great annoyance. So I am so grateful that you are here. And for all of the audience viewers who do not know who you are, please let them know who Priscilla is before we even get into why you're here.
I am a servant leader. And I say servant first because I love to serve. I'm from Yonkers, New York originally. And I took the road less traveled. I took the road less traveled, and God still used it in the end as a testimony.
Yes.
So as we get into the story, I'll be able to tell you guys a lot about me and a lot about what I do now and why I ended up in your hot seat.
That's right. And as you heard, we're about to tell her story. So as I invite all of you to do, get your popcorn, get your jelly beans, get your Raisinets, get your favorite beverage, adult or otherwise. Sit back, relax, and get some tissue too, because your heartstrings are going to be pulled in ways that you probably won't even realize as you listen to the story, but at the end, you're going to be glad that they were pulled.
So every Thursday, the OSSG meets up, 120 principals around the world, and just talk about education. But at the end of everything, because health is a big part of it, and sometimes not taught in the right way, there's always something to be said by you.
The educators, they're giving so much. These principals give so much of themselves, and I feel that the least I could do for them welcome me so openly into this forum that they have is just give something back to them to teach them how to really take the best care of their bodies.
And what made you want to stay? You're not a principal.
I felt the love. I really did. I say it all the time in the OSG meetings, and I'm about to be a little teary about that. It actually filled something in my heart that I didn't even know was missing. I didn't even know it was missing.
Can you give anyone any advice, as it relates to your experience on how to move forward to the trajectory of their evolution?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, even a couple of things. One is you just never know where inspiration is going to come from. I mean, I honestly feel that, James, that God sent you. When God sends people with a message to you, be open to it and follow through.
So Priscilla, the way I like to start all of my interviews with my guests is to ask them to define their definition of the topic. So the topic is loss. So how do you define loss?
I define loss as the prerequisite to more. Whenever you are about to be blessed, God will take something from you. So loss is something that you lean into and prepare to receive more.
Wow. And I think that's so deep. Now, before I give the picture that I just saw when you said that, can you help paint the picture when you say loss is to position you for more and God will take something from you to bless you? And then I'm gonna share my picture that I just got in my brain.
So in hindsight, when I look back at my loss, every time I lost something, God replaced it with something better or in a better way. When I lost my son, I gained 6 God kids. When I had to refight for my children again, I gained thousands of kids that I've been able to help through the school system. So he's never going to take something. Loss is never going to be in vain. You're always going to be positioned. It's the prerequisite for more.
And when you said that, the picture that I got is like, say you have something in your hand and your hands are full.
Yes.
In order for you to get more, you have to lose something out.
You got to let it go.
To let it go in order for you to get more.
Come on.
Because you don't know what your capacity is. So maybe my capacity is 10. I can hold 10. But if I want more, I have to lose some of my 10 in order to get more.
You better teach.
That was just amazing.
A word.
And I think somebody just felt that and understood it in a way
Holy
that
Ghost.
I didn't even think about it. Say it again.
Come on, loss is the prerequisite for more.
Yes. So I think that is a good segue to go right to your story, because you have shared some pieces already with your son and with your children. So let's start with the children that you had to fight for to get back, because a lot of women have found themselves in that position where, I'll let you tell the story.
Well, let me go back to, I used to hustle, right? And out of anything you would think that I would have gone to prison for, it would have been that, but it wasn't. It was for fighting back in a domestic violence relationship. I got locked up 5 times in one summer.
Yes.
Let's just tell the truth, shame the devil.
Yeah. I was locked up once too.
Thug life. Wait, no. So, my baby father's, I hate to use that terminology, my ex's sister did things like claiming my kids on her taxes and all of that. So for me, the mindset I was in at that time, unfortunately, it was on site every time I seen you.
When I see you, 3 o'clock is on.
So it was that type of thing. And, you know, at the time I couldn't really control my emotions. I didn't have any emotional intelligence to say, you know what, she's not worth it. He's not worth it. This is going to put you in a worse position. But God also used that. He used that loss to humble me and bring me to my knees, because nothing else would have. You could have messed with anything else around me, but you mess with my kids or you mess with my money, then you have my attention. Like a Dungeon Dragon.
Don't mess with my kids.
You mess with my kids or mess with my money, there's a problem.
Woosah.
So that's the type of situation I was in, and God used that to bring me to my knees, to humble me. And, you know, they came to tell me in jail that I was losing my kids. So I was already at rock bottom. And then on top of that, you're coming to tell me that you're gonna take the most important thing from me that doctors try to say I couldn't have. They told me I couldn't have kids. I prayed my children into existence. And God, now you're asking me to get them up? What you doing to me?
Well, let me pause you right there, because you said something that I don't want to get lost on the audience. And that was, at the time, you didn't have the emotional intelligence to determine how you should engage or interact in a situation that was on fire.
Yeah. Something that you know you got 2 pieces in a biscuit somebody for.
Okay.
So
tell me, what does that mean? So for our audience who doesn't understand
I had
emotional
never been
intelligence.
Violated in that way. So emotional intelligence is when you can woosah. Instead of reacting, because it's really not about what people do to you, it's about how you respond.
Yes.
So emotional intelligence is about having the capacity to say, okay, I'm not going to react to this. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to count to 10, and I'm going to think about what I say before I say it. So to me, that's emotional intelligence.
And then once you think about it, understanding the proper response.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right? Because sometimes we react because that's our nature, like at the default. That's what we were taught.
Yes.
Right? Like, ain't nobody gonna take advantage of me.
That's right.
Right?
And that's how I was used to. I had to fight in that way because, mind you, I was giving up at 14 years old. My father went this way, and he was rich but he ain't give it, you know. And my mom signed me over to the state.
Wow.
So all I knew was survival.
Yeah.
So that to me was ultimate violation. And there's certain things that you just don't do. You know, where we come from, there's just certain things you
just don't do that.
And having that done to me was a real test. It was a test of my patience. It was a test of my faith, which I wasn't really strong in my faith in.
Yeah.
I was stronger in my faith when I was humbled, when I was brought to my knees in a jail cell asking God, why are you going to take my children from me at a moment like this? And all I kept hearing him say was, trust me. Trust me.
Still small voice.
That still small voice, trust me. I'm taking them from you now, but I'm going to give them back to you in a way. Ooh, girl. Learning to trust that still small voice when that's all you can trust, when there's nothing else there. And he is telling you, trust me. Me plus nothing is everything. And I'm not stripping you to break you. I'm stripping you to build you up. And if you can just trust me in this moment, I'm going to show you how I'm going to take this loss and turn this pain into power, which shameless plug is a title to my book.
That's right. So we're going to have her repeat the title of her book because it's important, because you better go out and get it, because I know many of you are probably in some pain and don't understand how to get out of it. But what's the title again?
Turn Pain into Power.
Turn Pain into Power by
somebody.
Priscilla Echi. Read the book so you can understand how when you're brought to your knees, how you have to trust that still small voice so you can be powerful.
Grace on the Threshing Floor is what's the subtitle to that book.
What?
Because
let me just
lay it out.
Let's go like that.
I, in that moment, hearing that still small voice to trust him, I was brought to my knees in that jail cell. And I had to trust God in that loss. And it's a whole nother beast when you come out of there and you have to put the pieces together to fight for that back, because you say to yourself, you know, you have all the things running through your head. I'm feeling inadequate as a mom.
Yeah.
I'm feeling inadequate as a woman. How are people going to look at me? Because everything was image to me then. I'm driving a range. I got every Louis Vuitton,
Let me stop you there, because people need to understand, when she says she was hustling, she was hustling. So just give them a picture so they can really understand what you mean.
Oh my God. There wasn't a bag or a shoe that I didn't have. There wasn't a car that I didn't drive. There wasn't a fantasy that you thought about in your head that I wasn't living. So God had to take all of that away from me, humble me to my knees, just to prove to me that you don't need any of this stuff. Me plus none of this is everything that you are ever going to need in your life. And I learned that on the floor of the jail cell. I used to see them watching, looking through my window. This day in particular, I had my son with me. I'm walking in the door, and I feel something cold against the base of my neck. I was the angel of Harlem until I played the devil's game.
If there was a Mount Rushmore of con artists, Peggy would be up there.
Around $6 million was gone.
I like to thank Peggy King. These guys are taking care of me these days.
That's a big speech at a Hall of Fame to mention me.
I just go to a house and say, this is a nice house. I didn't know that I was on my
I ran with the meanest.
Tonisa was the black mafia queen.
Everything that I've done to this point has prepared me to be the next mayor of this city.
She's going to win by any means necessary.
There were multiple groups that were paying to play.
Do you think this is a scandal? Yes, absolutely.
We be flying, we be running. I used to see them in their fancy car. I wanted to be a big-time drug dealer. We focus on the money, yeah, we focus on the dream.
I lived a life that hip-hop artists fantasize about.
It may look good, but you're gonna go to prison or you're gonna get killed. Oh, I'm indicted.
Be very careful, because when you get put on that pedestal, that fall is really, really, really hard.
That put my family in jeopardy in a way that I still regret to this day.
It's not worth it.
But I got to do some pretty dope.
We will make Baltimore great again.
It was like a dream when you were around those guys.
I wanted to be on the Peggy train. I didn't realize the ticket would be so expensive.
So now talk about fighting for your children back, because they wind up taking your children.
Absolutely, not once, but twice.
Okay. And speak to the women out there who have lost their children, who are now fighting to get their children back, and help them go through that emotional journey so they can strengthen their emotional intelligence and understand what they need to do. Because they see you sitting here, you got your red bottoms on, you got your lips red, popping, and y'all don't understand what other great things she's doing, but I'll let you know. But yeah, talk to them.
What it takes is surrender. A lot of times we face contrast and we fighting it. We fighting it, we grabbing on this, we want to fight and we want to just do it. And you have to surrender to the process and you have to trust it. Because obviously there is something God is trying to teach you in that moment that you have to pay attention to. And once you surrender, once you say, okay, God, I can't fight this. I can't fight this now, but I'm gonna listen to that still small voice now. I'm gonna listen, I'm going to not react first. I'm going to take a moment and just breathe. And then I'm gonna understand my value and what I stand to lose by reacting in a certain way. And once you understand that, and once you surrender, you can now open yourself up to what comes next. And what comes next sometimes may not be the picture that you had in your head, but I promise you what comes next is God using that situation to turn it into a testimony to be able to help other people push through. So you have to stand the course. You have to surrender, stand the course, and then prepare yourself to be a vessel in that situation and be used to minister to others.
And what I heard you talk about is that you have to lose yourself. You have to die to self.
Completely.
In order to be what you need to be in order to live the life that you want to live. And I know some of our viewers that are watching are saying, okay, that's all spiritual. How do you do that? But what we can say as women who have gone through some stuff, trust me, it is the formula for success.
Absolutely.
Surrendering to the process is the formula for success.
Absolutely. And forgiveness. Forgiveness unlocks every next level of your life. You cannot carry the burden and the pain and the angst and all those lower level frequencies and expect to receive all that there is on that next level of you.
And that means forgiving the person,
forgiving your mama,
and
forgiving your daddy,
and forgiving yourself.
And forgiving yourself. That's the most important part, because there are levels of shame that we put on ourselves because of what we went through. You know, and we start to beat ourselves up and say, well, if I would have did this, this would have been different. No, it was planned perfectly for you. It was planned that way.
And you could have gotten caught up in that. And also, we got to forgive God, because sometimes we blame God.
Oh, I was mad at him.
Oh, talk about it.
Oh, I want to be honest. I was mad at God. How dare you give me something and then ask me to give it to you back? A lot of us don't want to admit that we say that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell the truth here today and tell you that I was mad at God. I did not want to do what he wanted me to do. And the only way he was able to get me to do that was to take everything away from me that I thought mattered most. That's when he knew he could have my ear. And in that moment, I was like, all right, God, I'm listening. Do the clench teeth. Do with the teeth click. All right, God, you got me. I'm mad at you, but okay, I'm listening. And just listening to that voice and telling him the truth. I'm mad at you. How could you do this to me? How could you make me look like this in front of people? It was all good just a week ago. You know, everything was fine. And he's like, if you can just control yourself, I have designed something greater for you. I have designed a life that's bigger than anything you could have ever imagined. Put away the picture that you got in your head of how you think it's supposed to go. And once I was able to put that to the side,
you got your kids back. And, well, he also sometimes does things in a natural way to help us, because sometimes we hear the small voice and we listen to the still small voice. And then he goes, okay, because it's not good for man to be alone, I have somebody for you to help you continue through the process.
But wait, let me catch you right there. So, here goes where it changes up with my Kevin Hart fingers. Okay, so it changes up right there. He used somebody I was in love with also during that time, because you know, when you're going through something and you're so vulnerable, you just want somebody to love you.
Yeah.
And in that time, it's like I had nothing. And then he sent somebody who was my childhood crush. He was my childhood crush, and he knew that that was gonna keep my focus so I wouldn't be distracted while I was being torn up by everything I was going through. He put him in my life and used him, dangled him in front of me to make me pay attention to all the steps that needed to be taken in order to move forward. So sometimes God will use that particular situation, even though you still got healing to do. I still had healing to do. I wasn't ready to entertain him. I wasn't ready to be a wife. But I knew I needed love at that moment. And he was showing me the attention I needed, and then God used that to push me to the next level. He didn't give it to me all the way yet. Sometimes when I got too caught up in it, he pulled it back from me.
But you still have to trust the process.
Trust the process.
And wanting to heal and wanting to be at a place where you can, like they say, live your best life.
Come on now.
Right? Is there anybody else that he brought into your life that you could say, oh God, that's a God interaction. That's a God connection.
God has put so many people in my life right now that, and it came after the surrender, because he couldn't let them in when you had all the other junk on the runway. The plane can't land. After I cleared that debris, he brought some extraordinary people in my life. One of which is the mayor of Mount Vernon.
Mayor Sean Patterson, the mayor of Mount Vernon.
One of which is Denise McKeezy. Another is which, like, the list goes on, but I couldn't attract these people until I was willing to release the rest of the junk that was on the loss. Until I was ready to let them go, I wasn't able to attract the people that I needed. The more to bring me to that next level, and to keep them. Sometimes we get them, but we still got that junk on our path. We can't keep them. We have to be ready in in every capacity, you have to completely let go. Let go of the rest so you can get the next.
So we have a treat for you all, viewers. You know, sometimes we talk about individuals in our lives that have made a tremendous impact. Sometimes they have already transitioned from this planet. Sometimes they're on the other side of the planet, or you've connected with them through Facebook or a reading of some literature that you are exposed to. But for tonight, we have the person that one of the persons that she just talked about, so we can find out from her. Sister girl, how are you getting involved in this situation? And let's see the blessing that she truly is from God. So, in a moment, you're going to meet Miss Denise McKeesey. Welcome back, audience. And like I said, you are going to meet someone fantabulous. Yes, that's my new word, fantabulous. You put fantastic and fabulous together, and you get fantabulous. So her name is, well, you know what? I'll let you introduce her, Priscilla, so you can let the audience know who she is to you.
She is a light. Not just to me, but to the entire OSG squad.
Off school grounds, OSG.
She is the first lady, not just of OSG and her household, but she carries herself like a first lady. And she is light and she is love. And that's how I would introduce my sister, Denise McKeesey.
Well, look at that, see?
Oh my God.
Yes, Denise. Oh. Well, you know, I have some wonderful words to say about her. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about me. But Denise, yeah. So tell me, what were you thinking when Priscilla just introduced you in that manner?
First of all, this is my sister. I love her so much. Thank you for that introduction.
Don't do it. I'm trying to keep these lashes on. Don't do it.
Yes.
So when you hear another sister describe another sister in that manner, what does that make you think about you?
OSG, also known as Off School Grounds, is a coalition of amazing school leaders, elected officials, entertainers, and other folks that have the desire to change community. About a year ago, I started this group because we felt that there was a need for us to be game changers and not just talkers about the work that needs to be done across, many of our marginalized communities. One of the things that OSG has been noted for the past few months is us identifying principals who have amazing talent and have tremendous influence.
We make jokes calling it a league of superheroes, but
That's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
That's what OSG is about, trying to shine a light on, the real rock stars. And not just us, there's other essential workers out there doing that work too. But since I got kids with me for 6-7 hours a day, we are the superheroes.
OSG is a collective of predominantly Black principals and leaders. who are committed to changing the narrative, not just for children, but what it means to be an educator who stands in their service.
We're about changing the narrative about what it means to be a powerful Black woman, what it means to be a Black man. Because at the end of the day, if you let someone see and understand who and what they can be, I tell you what, they're going to become who and what you believe they can be.
What we recognize is that we saw some of the problems in education, and we felt that most of the problems that exist, they actually get resolved off school grounds. You know, these aren't things that you can sit in your building all day long and figure out these problems. You got to get out in the community. You got to see what's going on. You got to see the need for the work that we're doing and then do something about it.
You have to fight a fight that you may lose. You may go into this battle knowing that I may lose. However, you're going to get some small wins in this battle. And so you have to be willing to put yourself out there. Be a maverick. Create the change at the expense that you may lose. So Denise, what do you think about when she described you, introduced you in that way, when we had one sister introducing another sister in that way? Because that really doesn't happen a lot of the time. So what are you thinking?
Oh, this is our everyday normal conversation.
Yes.
This is how we talk.
So true.
This is how we speak to each other because we value each other.
That's key. We value each other. So what does it mean to value your sister? What does that mean?
Oh, whenever she needs me, I'm there. There's no time that Priscilla can call me and I will not pick up the phone.
This is true.
Well, certain times, but.
I just ain't get there yet. I ain't called that late yet.
And Denise is married. Yes.
Cut off after
That's about the only time I won't pick up the phone. But she'll know, like, I'll call her back, you know, shortly thereafter.
Absolutely.
Or after you have a cigarette and a drink.
Anywho.
Yeah.
If she'll call, there's nothing that I wouldn't do for my sisters.
And I think that's important because when we think about valuing one another, I think sometimes that gets lost.
Come on.
Right? So valuing others. So having someone who values you, who you can say, this is my confidant, this is my road dog, this is my girl, means what?
Everything. There's many ways you can see a person. And because of how her heart is set up, I will always see the God in her. One of the hardest things I had to go through was going to my son's gravesite after not being there in 27 years. And the two people on the phone I had, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard, we call her Madam Mayor, I call her Sis, and Denise McKeesey. Both of them of which said, not only can you get through this, you're gonna do amazing, and you're gonna be love and light after this, and this turns into a testimony. And that's something you can't put a price on. I think to me, that's past valuing someone who you can open up to in that way, and that won't judge you in that moment, and think that that's the totality of who you are. You need people like that in your starting five. Without them, you're not going to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think it's past value for me. You know, she is something that I want to protect. When you find somebody who has that kind of genuity, and it's like you might take some punches on your own, but you won't let nobody touch her. I will snatch this wig off and these lashes and give it to you.
Wait, emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence.
You know.
Okay, y'all didn't hear me say that.
Yes, you know,
but yes, y'all did. Because if you mess with her, be clear.
Okay.
Okay, but I love her. She is love and she is light, and that's something that you want to protect with everything. You know, so for me, like, it's past value. I love you.
Oh.
I love you.
Oh.
I really do.
I love you too.
Like
but it's not about me. It's not about me.
There is so much that I gain from just a conversation.
Yeah.
Just high energy, high frequency talks, and I want you to hear why I love her so much.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be quiet and pass the mic.
Boop. Oh God. But before we do that, because I have some viewers who are gonna try to instant message me or like, what happened to your son?
Ooh, okay, so
because that's what they want to know too.
That was
That's
my
a
first loss.
Yes.
I was 19 years old. He died of crib death. He was 1 pound 15 ounces when he was born, and I could hold him in the palm of one hand. His fingers was the length of here to the top of my pointer fingers, and his toes were this big. Girl,
yeah, because
these lashes.
That's okay, because this is the real moment. This is what loss looks like, and this is what you have to do sometimes in order to push yourself through. Sometimes you have to acknowledge the pain and sit in the moment, and you have to honor the moment instead of trying to suppress it or ignore it. Because when you do, that loss sometimes will morph and transform and be a chameleon in your life, and you won't even have the emotional intelligence to push through because you are just so jacked up. So we're honoring this moment.
Absolutely.
And we're honoring the fact that we have a mother who is honoring her son and sharing with us and being vulnerable. So take your time, sis.
Come on, I love it. Thank you so much. I was a new mom, and it was my first time having to have somebody depend on me for everything, and it was an even grander dependence because he was premature. So, you know, all mothers who've had premature babies know that takes a little extra care.
Yep.
And I did everything I was supposed to. I did everything I was supposed to, but I was unequally yoked to somebody that I knew God did not want me to be with. He beat me through my whole pregnancy. He stabbed me, he shot me. He did everything that he shouldn't have done. And took my son. And the day that he brought him back, that next morning actually, was the morning that he passed away. So, he passed away from crib death. And I want y'all to know that every time I tell this story, I get stronger because I have sisters next to me. It helps me to get through that part. And I even had to forgive him because that was blocking me from reaching my next level.
That more. And
so my son passed away from crib death. And
well, can we talk, what's his name? What was his name?
His name was Karan James.
Yes.
Karan Indigo James. I named him Indigo because I love the color blue. And and he was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I make some beautiful babies.
Yes.
He was so
yes.
He was beautiful. And while he was here, he lit the lives up of everyone around me. So I want to honor my son.
Yep.
And
we honor you, Mr. James, baby James. We honor you. We thank you for even gracing us with your presence for the small amount of time that you were here. But that small amount of time has allowed your mom to, how can I say it, embrace her journey. Embrace her journey. And we thank you for that.
I'm Tommy Vincent, and I am a domestic violence survivor. I understand that coming out of a domestic violence relationship is not easy. You carry shame, you carry guilt, you carry the burden as if you are the reason why you are in that relationship. I'm here to tell you that that is not the truth. I survived a relationship that ended with me in a position where I never thought I would see another day. When you finally are able to take a breath and share your story, your life immediately transforms. There are advocates standing by, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Even if you just have questions and you're not quite ready to share your story, or even if you want to call in and speak on behalf of someone else, they are available to talk to you and to give you guidance and help you get to the other side. I want you to know that you are loved, that you are special, and that it is not your fault. The call is toll-free, 1-800-799-SAFE. It's time for everyone to allow for their voices to be heard.
This is what sisterhood looks like.
Absolutely.
So what would you say to sisters who find themselves on the receiving end of need or pain or hurt?
Yeah.
What would you say?
You know, you really just have to be there and just be a listening ear. You know, most of the time, you know, in our conversations, you just want someone to just listen as you release everything that's on your mind and your heart and your spirit. And that's what we allow each other to do. You know, anytime that we speak, whatever is going on, I mean, we can start out in tears, but trust and believe by the end of that conversation, it's a whole different energy. We are laughing. We're still crying with laughter by the time we get off the phone. But that's what we need for each other, you know, and that's, to me, true sisterhood. You know, someone that you can definitely, you know, as Mayor Sean would say, that person that can hold your water.
Hold your water.
And they won't spill your tea.
And they won't spill your tea.
Hello, somebody.
You know, you have to have someone that you can entrust and to speak and won't bring judgment to the person that you are or define you for being in that moment.
So what do you say to those sisters that have lost their way because they weren't able to hold your water and
spill your tea?
Spilled your tea.
Just throw it out there.
They want to throw it out there. What do you say to those sisters?
Betrayal always works for your benefit. If you knew how important Judas was to your story, you would not leave him out.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Where's the mic?
Wait, hold on. Wait, I don't want that to get lost.
Come on. If you knew how important Judas was to your story, you wouldn't leave him out. He's to your resurrection. He's to your resurrection.
For those of you who don't know, we're talking about Judas from the Bible who betrayed Jesus.
So yeah, like he's all of those people who taught me what real sisters and real friends were not were important to my resurrection because now I'm sitting here with real sisters. So I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, somebody.
Yeah. So you had to lose.
What Fantasia say? Sometimes you got to move. What'd she say? Come on.
In
to
order
win
we-
again.
yeah.
Right?
we gotta see. Sometimes you got. I'm gonna help you out. I'll be the backup dancer. I'll be the.
But you know that's what it's about. Like that loss led me to where I am now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And where are you now? That's right. Where are you now?
I am greeting my highest self with joy. I've waited 45 years to get here. And I know that this is just the beginning. And I am open to all that's to come. So I am grateful for all of the loss that I have experienced throughout my life, because I wouldn't change right here for anything.
Okay, so that's the spiritual piece, but we need to let our people know. That's
Okay,
all.
okay.
Greeting my highest self. Yes,
I mean
but
my
come
highest-
on. Yes,
in
now.
my Erykah Badu
Yes,
voice.
okay.
Okay, so
But no. Come on, boss.
Come on.
Come on,
Listen.
boss. Come on, boss.
All right, so, man.
Put it out there. That's right.
Listen, I am excited of where I am right now. And I honor, and this is real talk, I honor every single loss that I have experienced. The loss of my son brought me 6 god kids. The loss of my 2 oldest sons, my 2 youngest sons under my oldest son, taught me how to fight in the right way. Not in the way that would lead you to be in prison, not using your emotional intelligence, but it taught me how to fight with my brain.
Yeah.
It taught me strategy, because this life is about chess. And I was playing checkers at that point.
Yeah.
And so now, with that strategy, I've met other strategic people that are like, listen, this is how you do it. But you have to be pliable and able to listen too. You know, I had to lose thinking I knew everything.
Yeah.
That's another loss that's important. Lose the thinking that you know everything, because you don't.
Yeah.
And if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I needed to lose that mindset. I needed to rewire my taste level for people, places, and things. And lose those things in order to gain all that I have now. And I'm grateful.
And you're talking about helping people, so I'm going to switch topics for 1 second,
Come on
because
now.
Denise helps people in a way that you all need to learn, and
Yes.
I'm going to have her share. So Miss McKeezy, Mrs. McKeezy, Mrs. Denise McKeezy, share with the people how you help the peoples.
How I help the peoples. Oh my gosh, I help the peoples to understand about money and about finances and about how important credit is.
Ooh, come on.
We as a culture do not understand the value in credit. And how everything evolves around credit. You cannot get a job, apartment, utility without your credit being pulled and reviewed. So, you know, I try to educate everyone about the value in it and how to really, you know, strategically place themselves for them to have a better financial future.
I'm Akbar Cook, principal of Westside High School, Newark, New Jersey. 10 years prior to me getting to Westside High School, it was the Bermuda Triangle of high schools. Stuff went in and nothing came out. Riots, fights, gangs, drugs, death. It was the worst school in the whole state. It was bad. Over the summer, they kidnapped one of my boys, though. They killed him and threw his body in the hood. And I remember feeling helpless and just like, wow, what can I do to not feel this feeling again? That was when I wanted to set the world on fire. I'm gonna do something different. I'm going to create a space for them to be safe and just so they can be kids. I'm tired of them feeling like they gotta grow up so fast. So we came up with the Lights On program. Let's open up 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. I chose that time because the cops told me that's when all the bad things were happening in the city. Just come in here, play video games, jump rope, play ball, like a sense of normalcy where you know adults care about you. We end up getting through that summer, no acts of violence. Everybody knew we needed this safe place. The pandemic has done so much to my community. We're closed. It's one hub, and we don't even know if my kid can get there because they got to navigate through the gangs. I knew then that we needed to do more. The Lights On program has morphed into a food hub. We not only feed the homeless, we feed seniors, we feed my kids, and we feed families in need in general. I'm an educator. My whole family was educators, and it's in our DNA. This is the most fearless generation I've ever seen. They fear nothing. So if that kid has that fire already in them, I'm gonna feed the flame. It's about getting them all the information they need to succeed. It's about you nurturing what's innate already in them and finding out their passion and fueling that. If I don't do that, then I failed them. I'm doing it for the sheer love. If you're not bringing love into this job and you're not leading with it, you're in the wrong line of business.
So Denise, you said something that was really important in our community, and that's about credit. Because without it, we can lose out on a lot.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so if people want to figure out how to fix their credit, learn about financial literacy, how and what should they do? Well, first of all, how can they get in contact with you?
You can get in contact with me. I have multiple businesses, so I help both the personal credit and I also help businesses establish their business credit. So you can get in touch with me at pristinescore.com and you can follow the webpage and you can book an appointment with me and we'll sit down and we'll chat and see what strategy works out best for you.
Yes. You heard us say multiple businesses, right?
Yes.
Plural.
Plural. Because we business women,
Yes.
business women up in here.
Yes.
So that's pristinescore.com, right?
Yes.
And on IG, it's?
You can follow me on IG at Denise McKeezy. That's DENEISE MCKES as in Sam, EY. And my business page is at pristine_score.
Yes, and trust me, it's something that you want to research, find out about, because we don't want to lose out on opportunities simply because the system is designed and built on credit. You know, it is important. You go to college for the first time, they give you a credit card, you don't even realize what it's about, and you mess up your credit at such a young age. And you lose out on a lot of stuff, and then you drown in all of this loss. And sometimes you think that there's no way out, but at Pristine Score,
absolutely,
you can find your way out.
And I'm happy that you said that. I'm happy that you said that, Dr. Reilly, because one of the things, one of my intentions going forward is to really educate our youth on the importance.
That's right.
Because a lot of my clients that I have will say the same thing. If I knew then what I knew now, I would not be in this position. And it all starts from learning what to do with credit and money from a young age. So I encourage people to not only educate themselves, but educate for your children. And to bring those people, your kids up in that kind of a background. You know, get a book. If you don't like reading, there's audiobooks. There's a wealth of knowledge out there. You just have to educate yourself, and education is key.
It is. Once again, add pristine. Yes. So Priscilla, you talked about your book.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It's called Turn Pain into Power. I just did my story with BET, which was really exciting.
I used to see them watching, looking through my window. This day in particular, I had my son with me. I'm walking in the door, and I feel something cold against the base of my neck. I was the angel of Harlem until I played the devil's game.
And I wrote a book called Turn Pain into Power, which is an affirmational book, but it has little nuggets from my story stuck in it. So they can kind of hear real time and the proof of how you get to the other side of that.
And how can they get your book?
They will be able to get my book. You will know how to get my book. You can pre-order it this month, but you will be able to purchase it by next month. And I'm thinking about, because OSG now has publishing, I'm thinking about doing the publishing through OSG because it's important to kind of keep it in family, Black owned, and they don't know that yet. That was just a surprise, me saying that. But you know, they're releasing Dr. Akbar's book. I think it's just an exciting time for us as a whole, you know, and I'm excited for what's to come. Should I do my shameless plug of my Instagram?
Yes,
too?
that's what I was just going to say. So if they want to get in contact with you, and also want you to talk about the social butterfly.
Oh yes. Well, I create programs and curriculums for different municipalities. Something that came out of nowhere. I've started to create civic engagement curriculums and all kinds of stuff. And I'm so thankful for that. Like my first class that I'm starting to teach is with the Youth Bureau in Mount Vernon. I'm excited about that. So the Social Butterfly does that. We actually start book clubs. We do forums, panels, all kinds of stuff. And we know, because OSG has been a part of a lot of them. And, you know, we have tons coming out. Denise, Dr. Reilly, prepare yourselves for the next ones. And we're excited. So that's on my The City Never Sleeps page or my Social Butterfly page. So The City Never Sleeps is TheNeversleeps. And The Social Butterfly is The Social Butterfly Online.
Okay, and those both IG and Facebook and Twitter?
As well, yes.
So if you want to reach out to any of my friends, my sisters, they just gave you their social media contact information. And it's important to remember the Judas in your story is extremely important for your resurrection. If that is not a word, I don't know what is, and I hope that it changes your perspective. So by now, your adult beverage should be gone. Your tissue box should be empty. And your popcorn or Raisinets should just be finished, and you should be shaking the box to get that last little Raisinette out your box. And I hope that it has been a wonderful evening, and you've learned how to turn your pain into power. I am your host, Dr. Anissa Reilly. Thank you, and peace. Welcome to the Dr. Reilly Show.
Next time on Ask Dr. Reilly. Dr. Reilly sat down with Jocelyn Perry Ogburn to talk about Oh God, Not My Baby.
I was going to work one day. I dropped my baby off to the child care provider. I got a call that there was an accident to come straight to the hospital. I got to the hospital and my child was no longer alive.
I'm your host, Dr. Anissa Reilly.